Tazriya Mitzvot Tafshin Pei. Want to go a little bit into the different lashonos used in the pasuk that show us tremendous messages about complete different dinim about the Tzaras and how it pertains to us today in any situation and so forth. Let's go into psukim. I'm just going to take a few psukim. There's no need to take more to understand what we need to understand. So Parshas Tazria, right away, it's an introduction to from Nida. I don't want to talk about this Indian, talking on it on Shabbos. Right away, we pass on to Saras. Adam ki yihye be'or besaroi, a person, stay with me, okay? Because look at here the lashon. A person ki yihye, that there will be be'or besaro, in the skin of his flesh. Do you know any other skin, you? What's this lashon be'or besaro? And it's going to be constantly repeated about a certain type of Tzaraas. Already here you can see that we're speaking about an Adam. We're not speaking about Ish. We're not speaking about Gever. We're talking about Adam. What it means, we'll see. Ki ye be'or besaroi. Se'es o sapachas o baheretz, three types of Saras. Vehaya be'or besaro, and there will be in the skin of his flesh, in case you forgot that we're talking about the skin of the flesh, right? Lenega Tzaras, not let Tzaras, lenega Tzaras. What does this mean? Does this mean that it's not Tzaras? Does it mean Tzaras is a nega? In that case, we're going to see later that the pasuk is going to use directly the word Tzaras. Vehuva el aharoin hakohen. No, don't go to the Kohen. You bring it to the Kohen Gadol, or el achad mi banav hakohanim, but preferably, to the Kohen Gadol first. But isn't it an Indian of Tuma that they're not allowed to be metame lameisim? They're not allowed to be metame. It's a tough Tuma, Tzaras. And the Kohen has a tzivui not to become Tamei. Why do we throw that guy out of the three machnos? And he has to say Tamei when people pass next to him in the midbar. He has to say, don't approach me, I'm Tamei. Why? Because it's a tough tumor. It's the type of tumor that requires 7 days and then to go in the mikveh. So how can the Kohen be so light about it and come and just be next to this Metzora? And what is he becoming Tamei? It says nothing about it. The pasuk is quiet about this. But the Kohen cannot even become Tamei on a Tamei mace. Aaron HaKohen cannot become Tamei, only for his father and his mother, but besides that, nothing else. Vera Kohen. So the Kohen will see nights, it's the nega. Again, be'or habasa, in the skin of the flesh. Vesea banega hafach lavan, and he's going to see that the hair in the nega, in the wound, let's call it a wound, they turn white. Umar'e hanega, and the mar'e, it's almost like it seems that the nega is deeper. Here we go. Me'or besaroi. Just in case you don't remember that we talk me'or besaroi. Nega Tzaras, who it's a nega of Tzaras. Vera'ahu hakohen. Oh, one second. Vera'ahu hakohen. Who is Vera'ahu? Who is a pronoun. If you're talking about the person, then it's fine. Vera ahu, because he's a person. But if you talk about the nega, is vera oisoi hakohen. It's it, not him. Him is a person. So who is the kohen seeing? And since from the beginning, vera aha kohen es hanega, we're not talking he's seeing the person, he's seeing the wound. And the appearance of the wound, that's what the Maria Nega, the appearance of the wound seems deeper than the skin. Oh. Not easy to figure out what it means. May besaroi, nega Tzaraas, who this is considered a Saras, a nega of Tzaraas, because we're going to see there's a difference between Saras and nega Tzaraas. Vera ahu ha-kohen, I don't know what he's talking, who is he talking about? Is he reverting to talking about the person? Is he reverting to something else? Vetime oisoi. Now we have a different kind of Tzaras. And I'm jumping psukim here in the Torah. Beged, it could be on the cloth. Hiyeboy negat Tzaras. It's again the lashon negat Tzaras. Bebeged semer, if it's a woolen cloth, or bebeged pishtim. Look how many times he repeats beged. 1, 2, 3. Or it's of linen. Okay, so we have two types of gadim that can have a negat Saras. That's what we learn from this passage. O bishri, o be'erev, menai could be not on the beged. The beged is crisscrossing fibers. It could be only on one side fibers, and the other side don't have it. La pishtim of linen, ve'la tzemer, inverting now the order. Why? I don't know. It just happened like this. Ve'la tzamer. But now he's going to add us another type. Oy ve'oyer. So when did you say it in the first passage? Oy bechol meleches oyer. Even if it's not a cloth, even if it's just a skin. It's interesting. We see that the Torah here is giving us a little bit of a round in the lashonis of the psukim. What is the real intention here? We take it lightly at from very high. We're all talking about one, talking about someone that says lashon hara, or someone that's moisi shemra, and that's it. And all these psukim, this whole huge arichus that we're going to start here and finish in Parshat Metzora. Yeah, just to tell me this. This, the Torah could have told us in one pasuk. Today I'm going to have to go directly in the Indian and can't fly high. We have to get in deep. So let's go. The Megala Amukas points out that there are three types of Saras, three types of Negoim. One in the houses. I didn't even mention the one of the houses. The one in the cloth, and the one in the person himself. And we're going to see that, we're going to talk mainly about the guf us today, the one that afflicts a person on himself. But in order to understand what is this affliction, how it comes to be, we have to understand first also the others. Otherwise, we'll never understand the inyan of Tzaras, what it comes to teach us, and how it's so current today. So for our generation, almost it speaks to us. These psukim speak to us. Explain the Megala Amukas, why is there three types of Negaim? It's because a person has three obligations. Obligation to fix himself, And if he doesn't, then he's getting the nigeguf, the afflictions in his body. He has the obligation to fix also his clothing, anything that's considered. We're going to come to it. I'm just going to take so far raw, his words. As it says in the Pasuk in Koheles, Bechol eisihu begadecha levanim, at any moment your cloth should be white. If you would know the Kavanas we learned from this Pasuk in Shemona Esrei, I would be here till Shabbos explaining you. And the third one is more exterior to us. It's a place of living. That there's also tikkunim that we need to arrange to fix in order to become who we are, the Bnei Yisrael. He's explaining. The Gemara says in Menachos, Chavivi in Israel, praises the Bnei Yisrael that HaKadosh Baruch Hu surrounded them with mitzvahs, surrounded them with the mitzvah of tefillin on the arm and on the head, tzitzis on the cloth, mezuzah on the doorpost. Here you have on the goof, the tefillin, on the cloth, the tzitzis, on the house, the mezuzah, 3 mitzvahs. On which David HaMelech says 7 times a day, I command you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because you gave us this mitzvah. Sheba b'yom hilal ticha, I praise you 7 times a day because you gave us these mitzvahs. And these were the mitzvahs required for the Bnei Yisrael to come out of Mitzrayim. As it says in the Pasuk, Ushmartem es hamatzos. You will keep the matzos. Everyone understand. You will keep the matzos. Should have said the mitzvahs. It's written exactly like mitzvahs, but it's punctuated matzos. Okay. For another Pesach, I guess. And when it comes about to say that on the night of Pesach, Lelab Seder, we have to eat matzos, it's written without a vav. Basically, the pasuk starts, Ushmartem es hamatzos, Hey, Mem, Tzadik, Vav, Saf, incomplete. And when it comes to say, and we have just on the part, we have a question, it should not be written like this, but it is written like this. And afterward, it says, Ba'erev tochlu matzos, the Vav disappeared. Says the Megale Amukas, matzos is an abbreviation. What it means, Ba'erev tochlu matzos, on the evening you have to eat matzos. Mem for mezuzah, Tzadik for tzitzis, Taft for tefillin. The night they came out of Mitzrayim was only bischar, the 3 mitzvahs that they had with them. Without those 3 mitzvahs, says the Megala Amukas, they would have never been able to go out of Mitzrayim. We see here that there's a bare minimum for a Jew to be able to sustain himself at the level of a Ben Israel. There's 3 mitzvahs he has to do, but properly. And let me take you here. You will understand something that's written in Shara Kavanah, sorry, here. You know that during the Sphira, we're going to start counting 50 days. Why? Because we're going to go basically from the Malchus all the way to the Bina, which is not true because we count downward. I think I spoke in Dutch in this year last week about this. But anyway, we have 50 days between the first day of Pesach till Shavuos. So we're starting at the Malchus, and we're going to start correcting all the way to arrive at the 50th gate, which is the Bina. In that case, it's not possible that the first day of Pesach we in the Bina. How can the first night of Pesach be in the Bina since the next morning, not the next morning, the next evening, we're going to go all the way back down. This is the side of Esa Eschem al Kanfei Nesharim. Says Tazriya Kodesh in Shara Kavonis that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a special hara for the Bnei Yisrael on the night of the Yetzirah, because if it was not for the Bina, Oira Macheru shining with the oil, Bnei Yisrael would have never been able to get out. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Noitzer Chesed, is creating a Chesed. We don't have the Schusim for it, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is creating a Chesed. The Chesed of what? That we don't deserve the Bina. Despite that, the Bina will be Meir on that night, because otherwise we can't get out of Mitzrayim. What triggered that? So that's what that is saying in Shara Kavanas. What triggered that? 3 mitzvahs. They did mezuzah, they did tzitzis, and tefillin, which are the bare minimum for a Jew, we say. This equals to 1,245. This equals to, if I take Bina and Malchus in full, it's base, Yud, Nun, Hey, and then Mem, Lamed, Chav, Vav, Sav. In other words, that night, the Malchus went up to the Bina, and together, now the Bina spread its wings, and the Malchus also spread its wings on the Bnei Yisrael. Kanfei, Nesharim, as I explained over Shabbos, on the Shir in Shabbos, these are the Kanfei Nesharim. When it says, Va'esa eschem al Kanfei Nesharim, for Korban Pesach, it's because it's you're going to find in Tazriya Kodesh, it's the encoded. What is the encoded? These are the wings of the Bina and the Malchus, mother and daughter, when they're together. The Chitzonim cannot be there. That's why it's Leil Shimurim. And I'm not here to give a shir on Pesach. I'm just here introducing the inyan of the Bgam of someone who will be afflicted by either Negat Saras or Tzaraas. What is he going to do now? When we brought the Malchus into the Bina, we said it's called Kanfei Nesharim, which equals to 760, which equals to Keser, Chachma, Bina. The first 3 midas. In other words, when we want to access the shefa of the first 3 midas, we have to bring the Malchus all the way up to the Bina, as we're going to do till Shavuos, but gradually during the Sphira. Though, on the night of Pesach, he was done al pines, fine. But now, the 3 gamim, so since these mitzvahs are keneged tikun aguf, Tikkun the Bgadim, and Tikkun. So you know that the Metzora is going to go erase the 3 of them. What has he touched? Keser, Chachma, Bina. He has no more Shefa. From nowhere. There's no one Midah that can enable him to get back up and to come back. He's finished. He's out of the world. We're going to see how far this chet is going, how much he destroyed himself. This is If we don't learn this, we won't understand the chumrah of the Indian. And the proof is this equal Saras. The fact that he got Saras tells us that he reneged all the way up to the Keser. There's no more midah for him. There's no way back up. Okay, how is the Torah saying that Venir panegat Saras? You know, we're going to have to be very careful with the language of every pasuk, because every pasuk is going to say something else. There are some midas, he's finished in this world, in the next world. Totally, completely finished. Someone who arrived to Tzaras and he removed from himself the tikkun aguf. Now, the begadim and the bais, he destroyed in the next world his nefesh, which is the tikkun aguf, the begadim, which is called the chalukah de rabbanon, the cloth, the tzitzis, the talis gadol that he's going to have, not to be naked in the next world. And the mezuzah is the bais, the chedek he's going to have in Gan Eden, that's going to be his. He has nothing left. These are the three mitzvahs that we have that are building our future in Olam Haba. I'm going to go deeper than that. But I go slowly here because we're touching a very, very powerful Indian. The Mechilta in Parshas Beshalach, just to show you the effect of these mitzvahs. Ve'hamayim lahem choima, and the walls stood like walls. Miminam umismoilam, on the right and on the left. The Mechilta doesn't understand. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in his Mechilta doesn't. What he means, miminam, do you have to tell me that where the water, I know they were surrounded by water. The only path they had was in front. So I know it was open, but the three other side, like a base, it was closed. So they had on the right, they had on the left, but they had also behind. But the pasuk doesn't mention it, the back. So what happened to the back? So they had only two walls. What about it behind them? Did the water would come, was still bubbling and angry that he would come after them, wanted to come after them? The Rokeach is bringing Siman Shin Samech Aleph in the name of the Midrash Avkir. It's one of these midrashim that when we do, it's very interesting that I showed you that mamish last week. In the Shabbos Shir, how to do the Tifar properly. See, I told you it's in Siman Chesai Dalet in the Orachaim. So you put the talis over you. You let the first two, and that's how it says in Shar Kavanas, you let the first two tzitzis, the one in the front, they don't move. You only take the one from the back and put it over your shoulder. Says the Midrash Avkir. When Gabriel, the Malach Gabriel saw, they were not here, Shabbos last week. It's not fair not to tell them. The show would be too long. I'm not saying it. So when the Malach Gabriel saw that the anger of the waters, he told the waters in the back, watch out. Bnei Israel are going to put two tzitzis in the back. Right away it stood like a wall. Miminam, because the mezuzah is on the right post. Mismoilam, they're going to do a mitzvah, which is a tefillin shel yad, which is keneged, the Zohar says. We learned it in Pashas Truma, which is keneged, the keser of the malka. And in the back is when we put the tzitzis to the back, because we're going to have two tzitzis. The Yam got scared of the Bnei Yisrael and stood like a wall. We see those three mitzvahs again reoccurring during the Kriyas Yamsuf. Obviously, we learned that the Tefillin Shel Rosh, they connect to the Tefillin Shel Rosh of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Shepa comes through them, and all the Shefa come through the Retzua of the Tefillin, Shar Kavanos, Drushat Tefillin, and it goes down to us. That's why we have the two Retzuas coming to the right and to the left, because then it splits and it comes all the way down. Okay? Now we have, keneged this, three punishment for the Metzora. I'm not going to go into this in this year, but I'll explain you deeper on Shabbos later. Is Roisho Yefarua, can't wear yarmulke, can't wear nothing. You wanted to play with your mouth. You had a foul language. You spoke about someone else, about Israel, and you find all the haterim in your head, and how, you kvetched and say it's mutter to speak like this. Yes. It's so mutter that you walk like a goy. The frumak that you are, this is how you walk. Maybe I'll open up a little bit to give you a very deep look on what this means. He's begodim, so that's his head, to show that you have no connection. Tefillin, you don't wear. Oh, I want to wear tefillin in the midbar. You don't, there's no tefillin for you. You put yourself out. You're not a Ben Israel anymore. These three mitzvahs don't apply to you. You put yourself out of the world. Look how stringent it is. The God of Yufurumim, he has to have he has to wear clothes, like Torah clothes. Why? Because he has to show that he lost the Tzelem Elohikim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu left him. He has no more oir, the oir of the Bina, the Tzelem Elohikim is gone from him. Not only this, it comes to show him that the Chalukah de Rabbanon, the clothes that he's going to have in Olam Haba, there's none left. There's nothing. Sir, oh, I was a tzaddik. You will see. We will see. And it's going to be, so we have the Rosh, can I get the Keser? We have the Begadim, which is surrounding the Ur Mekif, it's going to get the Bina. The Tamei Yikra, the mouth that he was supposed to use to do mitzvahs with it, because the Malchus and the Vav Hei are lashon, Shoimer Pivul, Shoino, Shoimer Mitzaris Nafsho, Piv and Leshoino. The tongue is in the mouth. You can't speak without one of them. No, Pivul Shoino is Vav Hei. That's how he became Metzora. He used the Vav Hei to say bad. So Matz, we know in Atbash from the Zera Tikkunim that it's Yud Hei. What did he do? So he kept the Yud Hey. Now he puts the Ra in it. He attaches the Ra. What's the Ra? We know what it's the Zera says, whatever it says Ra, it's Gamma Bris. And already we have learned many times from the Chida and Avodas HaKodesh why the vocal cords connected to the back of the das, because when a person speaks, you know exactly where he stands. Who is he? He's megale from his das. He doesn't realize, but the brushing of the coil on the das, which is or where the dalet of the tefillin is, against the vocal cords right there, it gives you a sense of what this person is really inside, behind what he shows. And the Avodas HaKodesh says, if you hear Ra is Vayhi er becho Yehuda Ra be'inei Hashem. What was he doing? He was paying the bris. Ra is always kama bris. This guy is only talking bad. He's paying bris. The Chida says it's muftach that this person who's talking bad is not only this bris haloshen, but is also bris hame'oyer. They're connected. P equals mida. 85, 85. To show you that it can't be poigem one without being poigem the other one. Now we see that b'mida keneged mida, he's going to be having a oynesh on keseh chochma or bina, but we have to understand, since he has no opening in the spheres, how can he make tshuva? Who's going to send him a light in order to bring him back, that person? The Ari HaKodesh says in Shara Gilgulim, on the pasuk, Hen kol eile yifal kel. All these HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do. Pamayim sholish im gover. Twice and 3 times with the person. Look at the change of language in the pasuk. We're not talking about Adam. We're talking about gover, gever, a man. This pasuk in Iyov, well used by the Ari HaKodesh, in Hagdama Dalet, he says the following. When the person comes for the first time in this world, he is called a gever, a man. And if he is not correcting himself and elevate himself, do his tikkunim, the minimum of his tikkunim, then Yif Ol Ker, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do Pamayim Veshalosh. He will come back in Gilgul twice or 3 times, but no more. In other words, a person has 2 to 3 chances in order to correct himself or be damned forever. That's what Iyov is revealing in that pasuk, and that's what the Ari HaKodesh learns from there. So if he comes the second time, which is the first Gilgul, and he, instead of doing better, he's going to do even worse. He's going to come the second Gilgul. And if he does worse, he doesn't correct himself, he's going to come a third Gilgul, after which time the nefesh will go in a place called Avdon, lost, finished. Destruction, and the goof goes to a place Neshia. It's a midbar there that there's nothing. It's basically a lifetime, because there's no time there. It's lanetzach netzachim of suffering. Kafakela, like terrible, he becomes one of the other side. And you're going to tell me, yeah, but nothing important, the guy just now is a different bria. No, he still has conscience. He's still the same person. Do you think when we come to the next side, the nefesh is just that we have a kli, which is the guf, which holds together the nefesh, ruach, neshama. When we go to the other side, we basically we open up. And the nefesh goes to a place, the ruach to a place, the neshama to a place, and it's still the same conscience. And the person can think the same thing through the 3 worlds. So anyway, if the person is not correcting himself, he will come, these 3 times. But if he did some good, or he was a tzaddik, but he did some chatoim, learns the Ari HaKodesh, ve'oiseh chesed lo alofim, that person can come 1,000 times until he's going to correct himself. And it says this in the Tikkunim, also in the Zohar, Tikkun Samechtes, so what we say that a person only comes 3 times is a Rasha, but a Tzaddik HaKadosh Baruch Hu does chesed to him that he will give him the opportunity to come several times. Why do I go through all this? Because I want to bring you to a point that's going to crystallize everything. And instead of having so much data, you will have this much. And you will understand, despite your level here in the shir of a Chachma Bina, you don't understand, you will understand that part. The Zohar saying Tikkunim, Tikkun Lamed Beis. How many Gilgulim a person has because of his sins? He says that if he doesn't make tshuva, the first Gilgul, he will come back Okay, let's go through it. It's going to be the color white, and he's going to ride a white horse. In other words, what the Zohar says, because the person in the goof, it's like the nefesh is riding the goof, and it's called a horse. There's a reason, but let's not get into it. The color white refers to the midah of chesed. He's going to be born as a nice guy. He's going to be born as someone that likes doing chesed. And that's the opportunity that Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him in the first Gilgul in order to start being better. Because he gives him already free the midah of chesed. If he doesn't, then he comes in the midah of gvura. So he's going to be red, and he's going to come ride a red horse. This is how you recognize those people that have no leeway. They have everything is meticulous. It has to be their way on a thing. Very medagdek, very metzantem, tzarus ein. Second Gilgul, he comes back, and he is in the middle of gvura. There's nothing to talk. Don't try to put any juice in there. It's impossible. His whole thing is red. He's all in gvura. It's a waste of time to even try to put some flexibility. They're inflexible, and all they bring, they have midas adin, they look on others and on themselves. These people suffer. The third time, so the red is the gvura. The third time he comes back in green, and he's going to ride a green horse. Usually when the Zohar says yarok, it's not green, it's blue. But not to make the mistake with the tcheles of the Malchus, I translated to say green. And here, he is a balanced person. He sees what Midas Adin says. He says what Midas Chesed does, and he has Rachamim, so he's going to go mostly towards Midas Chesed. And with these tools, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him, and that's what it says in the pasuk, Im hiyu chatoechem kashanim, because if you use one of this time, especially the first time that you are in chesed, and you have so many avodas that are red, kashanim, kasheleg yalbinu, they will become schusim. The person through the midah of chesed has the opportunity to turn all the avodas that he did in the previous Gilgul into schusim and be a tzaddik. But if he goes to the second Gilgul, im yadimu katoila, if they as red as this red crawling whatever it is worm, Katsemer yihyu, they will turn like white linen, white wool. So on the first one, they're whiter because the snow is whiter than the white salmon. In other words, he will get a lot more schusim that he took the advantage on the first opportunity. We see that the three Gilgulim, and now I'm going to canalize you. The three Gilgulim are the midas of Chesed, Abraham, Gvura, Yitzchak, Tiferes, Yaakov. A person who speaks bad, a person who has a foul mouth, is a person that he is not the son of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That's what he tells me. And he's going to have to come 3 times in order to be able to make tshuva and correct the bad he did. There are 2 psukim that usually you see people bringing without any, from high levels. I don't want to judge anyone, but incorrectly. In Yecheskel, there are 2 psukim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a person to do tshuva. Ki lo echpoitz b'mois hameis. That's one pasuk that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that I don't want the dead to die. You're dead that lives, or that can die, he's dead. Ki lo echpoitz b'mois hameis. Ki im beshubo midarko v'chaya. And the second pasuk, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to come back to do tshuva and leave. But he told me he's dead. How can he leave? That's the first pasuk. The second pasuk is im echpoitz b'mois harasha. That's the pasuk they should bring. But they make a mistake. They bring the other pasuk. If I want the death of a Rasha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the Rasha to make tshuva. Ki im beshuv Rasha midarkoi v'chaya. Yeah, because he's alive. And now he touched, let's say, the keser. Keser, you turn the letter, is kares. He's going to be plucked off this world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to keep on living and, has a family, has everything, keep enjoying. So what is the first pasuk talking about? Because there is a possibility that the dead dies again. Where? Because he has no ilam haba. We have 2 lives. We have the life in this world and the life in the next world. When a person says lashon hara and is moitzi shemra, he has neither. That's why Chazal say that his olam haba is going to the person who he spoke about because he has no need of it. He's out of both worlds. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want even that one to be lost before giving him an opportunity to come back. The mois hames, he doesn't want him to die a second time. He wants him to come back and live in the second life. V'chaya in olam haba. What level and everything, it's a different The Gemara in Yevamot test tells us that the 3 midas in the Bnei Israel, which are keneged the Abbas, Rachmanim keneged Avram, which is Chesed, Baishanim keneged Yitzchak, which is the Gvura, Goim lechasadim, the Barth, keneged Yaakov Avinu, which is the Tiferes. When we go back to the pasuk of Iyov, that said, Elei falkel, this HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do. Parmaim shalosh, twice or three times, im gover, with a person. So we see the word gever. Gever, gimel, goim lechasadim. That's why Eov said that thing. Base by shanim. So midah of Yaakov inverted. Midah of Yitzchak, rachmanim, midah of Avraham. Whenever a person touches these midas, which are the foundation of the Bnei Yisrael, this calls for Gilgulim. I'm going to explain you a little bit deeper in a second. I think I'm going to go into Baishanim, into this midas. You will understand. So now I'm going into the pasuk that we saw before. We saw Adam ki yihye be'or besaroi. I'm not explaining yet be'or besaroi. And if you want, I can just explain it when I'm here. Why not? This This equals to 786 equals Keser Elyon. What he means, yes, it's a funny language. Yes, it's not adapted this language. But why do the pasuk use that language to tell you that the person who spoke has basically destroyed the whole binyan of the 10 spheres? He has nothing left, no kedusha left, no sphere that's able to shine upon him. Nothing left. He was even kofer be'ikar on the Keser Elyon. That's why the pasuk stressed that the oynish is so chamor, because nothing else touches the Keser Elyon, but this guy did. Now we have how many type of Tzaras? 3. Se'es, oy sapachas, oy baheres. Interestingly, right? Chesed, gvura, tiferes. Rachmanim, baishanim, goim lechasadim. 3, 3, 3, 3. What is the vote here for us to understand these funny names? Se'es. What do you know? Leprosy that has 3 names. It's a word, it's an affliction. But the Torah is going to have here quite some few names. But here we have Se'es, Sapachas, we start, and Baheres. Different colors that only the Kohen can see. How can he see? Can a Chacham Be'Yisrael see them? The Bechor, he has a moon. The Chacham can go and see it and be Matir the Bechor or Aser the Bechor. No, but he only the Kohen. Everything pertaining to the Tumas Nida, you can go to a Chacham to get a married. But no, not here. And Tumas Nida is a Chamudik Tuma. But not here. Only the Kohen. Why only the Kohen? So we saw there are 3 types of and these are 3 types Keneged Chesed, Gvura, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, that this person has been over. If we take, I should have done it at the same time. Let me do it. If we take those 3 midas of the Abbas, Rachmanim, by Shanim, Goimle, Chasadim, equals 982. Equals machshava, dibur, ma'aseh. A person is three things. He can think, he can speak, and he can do. And those three functions are required for Avodas Hashem. A person that speaks lashon hara or is metzi shemra, he has been over on machshava, dibur, ma'aseh. And against that, on the three midas, rachmanim, baishanim, goim lechasadim, on the three, he is not, and that's why he is no longer considered a son of the Avos HaKadoshim. Understood? The whole binyan of that person has been destroyed. He's no longer there. He is not a binyan of Kedusha anymore. He is a binyan, complete binyan of the Sitra Achra of the worst kind. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go into it, but explain you which ruach goes into these people. It's not the lowest ruchos, the bad one, and low level. No, these are the bad one at the top level. Remember, Saras equals 760. Chamoyer, Shoyer, the first two. The Nachash male, Nachash female. This is, they tell the others, guys, you have no rishus going into this. Why is the Tamei so stringent? Because wherever there was a neshama, says the Zohar HaKadosh, and the neshama left, and they see there's no more protection, the reshimui, only the leftover of the light of that neshama in that goof is enough that the Satan and the lily tell the others, don't approach that goof, it's ours only for the kings. And because they go into the goof, they make it tamei to a point that you need 7 days. A cycle of 7 days. I could go into what 7 days, or the Gematria Shiva Yomim, but otherwise I'll go all over the place. What I'm saying here is the level of Tuma that a person, it seems nothing, right? I just spoke, I just said a few words, I misspoke, or, maybe he intentionally spoke like this, and he doesn't realize what he did to himself. He's no longer. The Zohar says, the Torah that he learns, he'll give din cheshbon on it, because it's not going up. It's going to feed the Sitra Achra, which is his side now. The tefillas that he davened, he will give din cheshbon, because he empowers the Sitra Achra, because they don't go up. All the divrei kedusha that he says in the shemes of Hashem, they are used by the Sitra Achra. Basically, he digs his hole. And the mitzvahs that he does, do not count for him, because they go to the Sitra Achra. Look in which situation, just for basically alleviating his hatred or his sinna or his kina, for whatever reason, the person put himself into the clothes of the Chamar and Shor, not the other Mashchis, Af, Chema, the Rashi Aklipos, the generals. No, not the generals of the Sitra Achra. The king and the queen of the Nechashim, the Nachash Akadmoni. This is where he is, and it's almost impossible to free himself from there. Impossible. I'm going a little bit out of subject, but I do want to tell you this. Why do we send him? Because we in the threes, and I feel the urge to tell you, to explain you that, so you understand fully. We send him out of the Machne Kehuna, Machne Leviah, and Machne Israel. The three machnos. He's out. Where? In the midbar. What's in the midbar? The pasuk says in Dvarim, Nachash Saraf ve'akrav. The clippers. The Nachash, the Satan, the lily, and this is where they're at. If you just want to look at the Midrash when those in Parshas Bereshit in the Midrash Rabbah, when he lost the monkeys, the donkeys. What's his name? This guy. I was not ready to speak about him. He went and he saw briars that stole the donkeys from him, and they were half man, half animal. In other words, when the Metzora goes to the midbar, he sees exactly all the creatures from the other side. As the Gemara says in Brachas, once you see there's not even a space to move in the world. They're filling the world. We would panic if we would see them. That person is seeing them for 7 days. They make him suffer for a cycle of 7 days. And if he didn't make tshuva the 7 days, he goes for another cycle of 7 days. And even when he's done, he cannot go into his tent for another 7 days. He has to go through I asked the question before, Vera'ahu HaKohen, who can only refer to a person. But I said the pasuk start that he sees the nega, Vera'ah HaKohen es hanega. He's going to see the affliction, the wound. So how can we say Vera'ahu? We should have said Vera'ah oisur. The Kohen sees. What is the Kohen? Only him can decide if he's Tamei or Taher, because he sees the shed that went inside the Tzaras. If he sees one, so how come he doesn't become Tamei? Because the Kohen is from Chesed. Chesed is on the Chochmah. Keshemen haroish yored al zakan, zakan aharon sheyored al pi midoisal. The Kohen Gadol is sending out his kodesh. That's why the pasuk speaks first of Aharon and then Banav, because Aaron has no fear from them. They're fearing because he has the oil of the Chochmah on him. They're not going to move. They're going to hide in a corner there. They don't want to see the oil of the Chochmah. They're going to turn into ashes. So they do not expand in the wound until the Kohen allows them. And they will have to get out when the Kohen says it's time to get out. Because the Kohen can see if the person has made tshuva, there's a sign in the wound. If the person has made the correct tshuva or not, then he tells the shed, get out of here. There are Kodeshes. Why? He's been poigem in the yud of Shakai. This is the that he has. So now that he has been poigem in the yud with this diburim, take off the yud from Shakai, you're left with Shindalet. And that's why Mida Keneged Mida, he's afflicted by these creatures. Now you understand that it's basically very simple what the pasuk says. So the pasuk tells you Adam, it's a big person. The Zohar says there are 3 names to a person. Adam ish gever. Adam is the best person. But he feels like you know what? Him is entitled to judge others, and is entitled to come with not only an opinion, but lashon hara about other people, because he feels he reached a level that he's comfortable about himself. Says the Midrash, these people, they put him in the letter Dalet in the Shem, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud. If you take from Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, the Dalet, what you left with? Ani. They're over cliff already. These people are over the cliff. They're finished. They don't belong to this world. Island Torah. I'll just take a few minutes before to end the share to tell you literally what the Komana says, because this is out of this world and so current that it's shaking. You know, a person, the greater he becomes, the more entitled he feels he is, because his Yetzer Hara now is much easy way with him. That's what it says in Chazal, that the bigger a person is, the bigger his Yetzer Hara is, meaning he has a lot more avenues to entice that person to make a Ched Chmar Islam. But is Meitzi Atzmoi Mina Oilam, he takes him out from the world. Now I'm coming back. I was in 3, so you understand that I'm going back to the Shir, Se'es Sapachas Baheres. If we take just quickly, time is flying. Didn't even start the Shir yet. Let's take the 3. I'm going to copy them like this. Copy. No, sorry. I should have gone here. This equals 1856. This equals Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes. And we have to add Lev in full. Lamed, base. Because now we're going to start going even much deeper. Why? Because it requires a person has to work to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu in machshava from the inside. A person who's touched by Tzaraas, and in other words, a person that says lashon hara, you know he has no machshava at all in his avodah. He has put himself, he is not a Rahman, he's not a Baishan, and he's not a Goy Mel Chesed. That's what it is. He's a Goy. He's a Goy. Yes, no other thing than a Goy. And his avodah was never done with insight, with the lev. That's what he tells you here. That's why Mida Keneged Mida, Kadosh Baruch Hu will expose the wound on his flesh to show other people that this person is a faker. That's why the wound was on his flesh and in a place where other people could see it. So he has bizayon that now people know his inside, that he is a faker. That's all he is. That's what the pasuk says. Because you didn't serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, besimcha uvetuv leva, happiness and with heart. That's why the afflictions are coming to a person, because you know you're outside, you pretend to be, you come to shul and you are a brisker, you know, I want you to be a normal person. Don't act in front of me, because if you act, it means you're hiding something. And don't throw powder in front of my eyes, because, you know, the Torah taught us how to read a person. The more a person wants to hide behind a posture or behind a certain cloth, the more you know that this person is a faker. He has something to hide. Because we are three things, not more than three things. Machshava, dibur, maise. The maise I can see, the dibur I can hear, the machshava I can see. The Gemara says in Psachim, one of the five things a person that cannot know is what his friend thinking. But you can know one way, the way he acts. If he's putting up a show, anyone that puts up a show wants to hide the machshava. Why does he want to hide the machshava? Because his machshava is pagum. He would have been better off not to try to put up a show so we wouldn't be suspecting the machshava. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this bedavka so we know what is machshava and where he stands. That's what it is. The Mishnah in Maseches Derech Eretz, I'm going to have to finish soon because we're getting to the... In Maseches Derech Eretz, the Mishnah explains, Tchiles Aveira, the beginning of every Aveira is the Hirur Aleph. Because if you're taking here, Hurim, right. Machshava goes up to the Keser. Faker goes to the Keser. Anything, because the Keser is Resha de lo Isyada, the head that we don't know. It's the part of the brain we don't know. So only the Machshava can access it. So anything that's used with the Machshava goes directly to the Keser. So that's why the Mishnah says that Tchiles Aveira Hirur Alei. That's the worst thing. It's hidden. Now, the second one is Leitzanos. You see, you use the dibur. You're not using the machshava, but using the dibur. The third one is Gasus Haruach. The guy feels hamish about everything. The Torah says this, Chachamim said this. I know better what to do and how to do it, and I know what they meant. And you're twisting the Torah every way that arranges you. This is a person that after speaking lashon hara, this person becomes gasa ruach. There's no way to save him. No way to save him. Guy pretend, I know kol ha-Torah kula, I didn't even go to yeshiva or barely went to yeshiva. Even those who went to yeshiva and they learned all their life, they have the humility to say, we know nothing. Because the more we go into the Torah, the more we see the chokhmah of the Torah, the more we say, we don't even know klippes hashum. The Torah humbles you down because there's so much chokhmah, so much you can do. Today, I was in the middle of another shir. I get a call, an urgent call, and I see that they tell me, please pick up, it's very urgent. So during the shir, I have to pick up. They tell me that there's a woman that is, for the past almost 48 hours, she is in labor and she doesn't open up, and the parents don't want a cesarean, but time is running out. And she's not going to be able to sustain a surgery. So the doctors were panicked. So someone called me, said, we need to do something in order. I said, look, this is above my pay grade. So I called my Rabbi at Israel right away. I said, look, this is a situation. I'm middle of a shir. Just tell me what to do. I said, I know we learned it, but I said, you have to repeat it to me so I can't. They told me this is what and what we do. And Bez Hashem, the baby will come out, and the baby came out. So to show you the koyach of the Torah, the koyach of the pasuk, there's a way to say a certain pasuk and have a kavana, and automatically everything, the body, rearrange itself, and the baby came out. The mother, they both, the pasuk enabled them to do whatever it changed, and Baruch Hashem, like mamish after. Unbelievable. To show us that the more we learn, a person who's looking for an Ivis should force himself to learn more and more, and he's going to see. Gasus Aruach equals 688. The Ralab and the Tana together, all the shemes of the Chokhmah and the Bina together, and he tramples over. 688 equals, let me show you this, I'm on that page. So it says, Gasus Haruach equals 688 equals Yehi Oyer in full. Yud, Hey, Yud, Aleph, Vav, Resh. This guy has no oil. Go look for, there's no oil. He's in the Choshech. Not only in the Choshech, Reb Amnuna Saba says in the Zer, he's not coming back in Tchias HaMeisim. Guy is done forever. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is Choylek. He says if he's connected to a tzaddik, the tzaddik will bring him up. But in what stage? Go see there in the Zer. In what stage? He's going to have a shame, eternal shame. He's not going to be healthy and a full body. He's going to be whatever he's going to be. That's with the Kollel, this is the Ralab and the Tana. Shemes of the Chokhmah and the Bina all together. He put everything out through the window. He is finished. Instead of building the world, he destroyed everything, and there's nothing left for him in this world. I'm going to stop here. I'm not even half the shear here, but you know, it's a special inyanim. I explained, you know, the chiyuv to be shomer, to have constantly a mind to keep your mouth, and unfortunately and fortunately is the simple people of the Bnei Yisrael in this generation that keep their mouth. You don't find that midah on the higher echelon. In contrary, you find the opposite. But once you see Am Yisrael in the Tmimis, remember what we learned last week. The stronger sun is at the zenith, in the middle. Benoni Shalem. Shalem equals 370. 370 oiros that shine the Shin Ayin Hoirin Kadishin that come out from Arichanpin. Oh, I'm not perfect. Yes, that's exactly why you have the 370 oiros, because you're in the middle. Get to one side too close, and you're going to see what's going to happen. You get too close here, you're going to end up on the other side. Negat Saras is the one who speaks lashon hara, but there's a level above him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him a nega of Saras. But when he gets Saras completely, he's done, he's finished. This is the chasima. He has nothing in this world, nothing in next world. He's not going to have Tchias HaMeisim. He's going to have nothing. This is the person that became Hainish with the Torah. Instead of respecting it and being humbled down, this shows you he has nothing. He's not in Machshava, not Dibur, not in Maaseh. You have to watch him because he has no midas of Israel, not Rachmanim, not Baishanim, and not Gem Lechasadim. Kadosh Baruch Hu should save us from this people and should be madrich us on the derech ha'emes all the time. Light up the route because it's a very, very thin gvul. It's very easy to go off the cliff. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, amen v'amen.